Good morning, my students. Today's our topic for the lecture is development of endocrine system. The endocrine glands are the ductless glands which secrete their product directly into the blood. These glands they secrete their product through the blood and they reach the target organ. They attach to the target organ through the specific receptor and then they exert their action. The major glands include pituitary gland, pineal gland, adrenal gland, thyroid gland, parathyroid gland. Along with this, the islets of Langerhans in pancreas play the endocrine function. Like the same way, testes, ovaries, hypothalamus, and endocrine part of the liver secrete the hormone which are endocrine in function. Now let us begin with first gland, that is pituitary gland. We discuss this gland under the following headings like introduction, development and the clinical aspect or congenital anomalies related with it. You all must be knowing the pituitary gland is it is also called as the hypophysis cerebri. The gland hangs from the base of brain by the pituitary stalk. It consists of two major parts. One is adenohypophysis, that is the anterior pituitary, and the posterior one is neurohypophysis, that is also called as the posterior pituitary. The pituitary gland is an unpaired endocrine gland located in the bony fossa of sella turcica in the sphenoid bone. You can see the gross figure of the pituitary gland. It is having two lobes. One is called as pars anterior. The pars anterior is a dilated lower part of the gland situated in the ventral aspect, which continues with the narrow stalk that is called as pars tuberculis. There is one intermediate pars called as pars intermedia situated in the center, while over the posterior side there is a dilated portion called as posterior pituitary. It is also called as pars posterior. This is attached to the sella turcica through the stalk of hypophysis. That is how in the base the two tubers, that is pars anterior and pars posterior with the pars intermedia is there, while infundibulum, it is attached to the infundibulum through the pars tuberculis and stalk of pituitary. Now next is its development. As I told you, there are two parts of the pituitary. One is anterior lobe, the another is posterior lobe, and in the mid there is intermediate part. The anterior lobe and the intermediate part it develop from proliferation of Rathke's pouch. The posterior lobe it developed from the proliferation of downgrowth evagination from the floor of diencephalon, which is called as infundibular process. Now let us discuss it in detail. Here are the two figures. You can see. Try to remember the lecture of embryology where there is head fold and tail fold. Over the head fold, this neural tube, remember students, the neural tube is dilated to prosencephalon, diencephalon, mesencephalon. Okay, so just when this prosencephalon and diencephalon it is developing to the head, like here there is one furrow, it is called as stomodium. It is nothing but it is the primitive mouth cavity. This stomodium it is having a curtain called as a buccopharyngeal membrane, and this is the head fold. These are the pharyngeal apparatus or pharyngeal arches you can make out here. So from the diencephalon you can see here there is one evagination or outgrowth, you can make it very clear in the diagram, that is the diencephalon evagination. One small evagination from the roof of the stomodium is seen. Pituitary is developed from two different sources. I told you anterior and intermediate part of the organ develop from an ectodermal outgrowth from the upward growth that grows upward from the roof of stomodium in front of buccopharyngeal membrane. This is very clear in the second diagram, where you can make out the stomodium. Just at the roof of the stomodium there is a small uh, outgrowth or diverticulum. It is growing upward, that is called as Rathke's pouch. Meanwhile, from the diencephalon, one red color evagination you can make out, that is now called as infundibular stalk or infundibular process. Now, this Rathke's pouch is more clear in the next diagram. Here in this, now both these evaginations you can make out nicely. Infundibular process and the Rathke's pouch. The Rathke's pouch, it grows towards the infundibular process. So what I was telling, the Rathke's pouch at one point it cut off from the stomodium and it gets separate from the stomodium. The posterior part and the stalk of the pituitary develop from the downward evagination from the floor of the diencephalon. The downward growth come in close contact with the Rathke's pouch and then fuse with it. This Rathke's pouch appear in the third week of intrauterine life and then it fuses with the posterior lobe by the end of the second month. Now here in the fourth diagram you can make out the infundibular process. It has taken its shape in the form of infundibular stalk. The Rathke's pouch now it is on the process of cutting itself off from the roof of the stomodium. Now to summarize it with the help of the flow chart, the ectoderm of the stomodium invaginate inside to form the Rathke's pouch by the end of the 21st day. This Rathke's pouch, derivative of these are, it is forming the anterior wall, the posterior wall and pouch itself have a cavity. Afterwards, the anterior wall, it dilate to form pars distalis as well as pars tuberalis. It totally form the anterior lobe or pars anterior. The cavity afterwards it get narrowed and it form intraglandular cleft. This cleft afterwards give rise to, it become part of the anterior pituitary. This posterior wall, it give rise to mainly the pars intermedia, which is the intermediate lobe, and that is how the Rathke's pouch it form whole of the anterior lobe of the pituitary. Now, from the infundibular process, what happens by the end of the 6th week of intrauterine life, evagination called as infundibular process it start appearing. Afterwards, this evagination get deepens inside to form infundibular stalk. The stalk afterward get fused over the dorsal part of the Rathke's pouch. This infundibular stalk afterwards get converted into pars nervosa, which is nothing but the pars posterior or posterior pituitary. So, the pituitary is ectodermal in origin. The neuroectoderm of the diencephalon give rise to posterior pituitary. The ectoderm of the stomodium give rise to anterior pituitary. Now, After development, coming to congenital anomalies. The remnant of the Rathke's pouch may sometimes give rise to a peculiar tumor. The tumor is called as craniopharyngioma. This craniopharyngioma is seen in relation to the sphenoid bone in the roof of nasopharynx. Then uh, there are some accessory anterior lobes may be seen in relation to the posterior wall of the pharynx. They are called as accessory pituitary glands. Then there may be total oogenesis of the hypophysis cerebri. Sometimes you may see there is hyperplasia related with the pituitary, while there may be hypoplasia, that is the congenital anomaly related with the less development of the pituitary gland. This craniopharyngioma is seen in relation to the sphenoid bone of the nasopharynx. It may occur in childhood by the onset of 5 to 14 years of age, or it may be seen in the adult between 50 to 70 years of age. Now when this all parts of the pituitary they are developing, at the same time there is seen histogenesis also appearing inside the pituitary gland. The histogenesis of the pituitary gland begins in the 4th month of intrauterine life. The acidophils appear earlier, followed by the basophils and the chromophores. The neuroglial cells they start appearing in the neurohypophysis by the 4th month of intrauterine life. This is followed by the axonal colonization from the supraoptic and paraventricular nuclei of the hypothalamus. That is how the pituitary gland is developed from the Rathke's pouch as well as the infundibular stalk. Let us revise the gland shortly in 5 minutes. Okay. Now I told you pituitary gland is the basic gland. It is very important endocrine gland situated in the sella turcica of the sphenoid bone. It is also called as hypophysis cerebri. It has, I told you, it has pars anterior, pars posterior, pars intermedia, which are attached to the infundibular stalk by pars tuberalis and stalk of hypophysis cerebri. Then the two lobes, pars anterior and intermediate part, develop from Rathke's pouch. The posterior lobe develop from the proliferation of downward growth from the floor of diencephalon, which is termed as infundibular process. Now remember the figure and the head fold of the embryo, in which the neural tube get divided into three main bulgings: outgrowth, prosencephalon, diencephalon, mesencephalon, and in its caudal side there is rhombencephalon. From the diencephalon, from the floor of the diencephalon, there is one imagination I told you. It is from the it is called as infundibular process. It gets fused with the Rathke's pouch. Now Rathke's pouch, it gets cut off from the roof of the stomodium and then it fuses with the infundibular process in its dorsal part. Both these parts they join together to form pituitary. Now this is the development of the pituitary. Now coming to the next gland, that is called as the pineal gland. Pineal gland is also called as the third eye of human body. It is named as epiphysis cerebri. It is also called as principal seat of the soul. The pineal gland it develops as an evagination from the diencephalon in the roof of third ventricle. Now remember the same figure. Here, from the floor of the diencephalon, there is evagination called infundibular stalk. Exactly opposite to this, from the roof, there is one evagination outpouch. That is the evagination for the pineal gland. So, pineal gland, it develop as an evagination from the diencephalon from the roof of third ventricle. It secretes one very important hormone, that is melatonin. The melatonin, it inhibits the secretion of gonadotropin releasing hormone. It also influences on many other endocrine glands. It regulates the rhythm of the day and it helps in establishing a typical circadian rhythm of the human body. Pineal gland, its function is for a short period, but it's very important. Now this is here the it is the only the outpouching is shown. From the roof of the third ventricle, a small outpouching is seen. This outpouch get cut off, and first there is presence of cavity inside. Afterward, the cavity get obliterate, and the solid outpouch is seen. This afterward replaced as pineal gland. So these two glands today we are going to see. The next glands we'll see in the next class. Okay, all my dear students, be in the home, stay safe, stay tuned, be in touch with anatomy. Daily read for at least 1 hour gross anatomy or embryology or histology. Thank you.